that when you open your borders and you let people through, you don't know who's coming through. You don't know who's good, you don't know who's bad. That's why you have to have a border. That's why it needs to be secure, and you've got to have different standards and practices of finding out who's who are the good guys, who are the bad guys, and eliminating the threat. And as you can see, when you have wide open borders and you allow refugees to flood in and you don't know who's coming through, these ISIS guys are taking advantage of that situation, and they're using those migrant routes, and they're coming in and carrying out these terrorist activities and killing tons of people. We need to stop this. We need to nip it in the bud. We need to make sure that people in Washington understand that this is something that's not just going to be happening in Paris. One day it will happen on U.S. soil. So stay tuned for more reports at INFOWARS.com. I'm Joe Biggs.
And all you ISIS people threatening us, hey, we're not a French newspaper, okay? We got people that have taken your asses out in this building right now. We're armed to the teeth, and we're not scared. You got that, you sons of bitches? This is Texas. You want to threaten me, you can go straight to hell. You understand that?
Never water yourself down just because someone can't handle you at 100 proof. It's the Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. Take advantage of this at InfoWarsLife.com.
And why wearing a Hillary for President t-shirt might get you punched in the face.
They thought it said Hillary for president. He said, I was seconds away from sending my bar back over here to punch you in the face. Since you're wearing a Hillary for prison shirt, you don't have to buy drinks here. Everything's on the house.
Hillary for president!
Hillary's not surging, I tell you that. They're not saying that. They're not saying that. Thank you.
There you have it. Donald Trump endorses Hillary for prison. Get your Hillary for Prison 2016 t-shirt at the InfoWars store. And on the back, it says, legalize freedom. Show your disapproval of Hillary by buying your t-shirt today.
But what she's done is criminal.
This is an American president. Just add puppet, then vote and repeat every 4 years.
There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you, duck and cover.
Welcome back. Of course, that was a propaganda film from the 1950s, and joining me now is Leanne McAdoo. We're going to talk about modern-day propaganda. Leanne, I remember that from when I was a child, the Cuban Missile Crisis and things like that. That was, even as a child, and I guess that's when I started mistrusting the government. Right. When I knew as a child it wasn't going to do me any good to stick my head in a desk.
Right.
Okay, that's what they were telling us, stick your head in a desk. And we were joking at schools like, so what? For our dental records? I mean, it wasn't even plausible to elementary school students. You know, I guess it's a way of telling the American public, if we launch the missiles, you can go to Shell.
Yeah, kiss your butt goodbye. Yeah, exactly. And it seems like that's still sort of the plan, the nuclear preparedness plan. They really don't have one for the majority of American people. It really is up to us, up to everyone worldwide to prepare themselves. And so now, of course, we've moved away from propagandizing through cartoons. Now we're moving into video games. And so Fallout 4, there's a lot of excitement. This is a post-nuclear war game, Fallout 4. And a lot of people are really excited about it. And this is modern day nuclear preparedness propaganda. This is actually helping you essentially psychologically prepare yourself and kind of have
Who's to worry about that? I mean, you know, it's the American public, just like the Mark Dice video, the American public, let's launch nuclear weapons on Russia. And the Russians, who have actually experienced a massive war on their soil within the previous generation, they're like, are you crazy? Are you absolutely insane? And of course, the American people are insane.
Right, and even just, you know, seeing what happened with Chernobyl and everything.
Yeah.
So now this particular video game, Fallout 4, the makers of the game actually commissioned research to make this game and the survivability of it as accurate as possible. And so a lot of people, you can learn some things from it. But interestingly, the American Chemical Society put out a video of their own challenging this notion that the human race could survive just living inside of these vaults if there's some type of a nuclear explosion. And the video is called How to Survive Real Life Fallout, Bunker Essentials. And I thought it was a pretty, you know, it's pretty informative video.
Dr. Strangelove, do they have that clip of Dr. Strangelove in there?
It's good. It kind of simplifies things. And I know a lot of people out there are really interested in preparedness and, you know, making sure that you do have bunker essentials. And so it pretty much tells you that surviving nuclear fallout is a lot more difficult than fiction would have you believe.
Yeah, there was an interesting British cartoon, and it was an older couple, and nuclear war breaks out. And they go out and they get the government handsheets about what to do next. It's called When the Wind Blows, I think. And it was absolutely absurd. It's like, well, gee, darling, it says to do this, so we must do that. You know, you watch them slowly die in this car. It's a very dark comedy.
Right.
Because that's what the government is telling us. They want us to believe that we can survive this stuff, that there's not much of a risk. Saw this back in the Cold War as the Pentagon's Brain, the book about DARPA, talks about how we had no civil defense shelters. And when they brought this up in Congress, they said, well, what do we do? They said, well, just get out of the cities. And it's like, well, what if the bomb hits while we're in the city? Just get in a ditch beside the road. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Are you insane?
Get in a ditch.
Yeah. Well, we can put some stuff out. Maybe we'll put some concrete cylinders out there that people can crawl into.
Right. And hopefully you'll have enough food in your car or wherever that you can fend off the rest of humanity that's hiding inside of these tubes with you. And that's just it. There really aren't any preparations out there for the mass of society, and they're not going to give us really any warning of something like this going off. So this video kind of explains sort of how to survive, get the food, clothing, shelter, things that you need to really give yourself a chance of survival here. In particular, they say the key to survival is time, distance, and shelter. And they say if you hold your thumb out in front of you, if you see a mushroom cloud and you hold your thumb like that, if the cloud is bigger than your thumb, you're in the radiation zone.
You're done.
Get lost, evacuate, or you know, which kind of, if you think of those pictures of the family that was kicked off the Area 51. And they were standing right there in front of the mushroom cloud with their coffee and, you know, just really
no warning. See, that's just, they wouldn't even give a family that was right next to their test area in Nevada, they wouldn't even give them a warning. They're not going to give you a warning. That's why you have to stop this. They have to stop these geopolitical games, these Henry Kissinger, Dr. Strangelove games, Zbigniew Brzezinski, what they're planning to do. We have to stop it before they do this, because it is going to be giga-death once this happens.
No, absolutely. And so, you know, for me, just watching all the daily headlines and just seeing, I sense that they really are prepping us by not prepping us, but just dropping little clues in the daily news. Hey, you know, we told you nuclear war was coming, you know, Business Insider.
Psychologically anesthetizing us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, they can say, well, we told you all of the billionaires were buying bunkers. We were saying it was for civil unrest or for the zombie apocalypse, ha ha ha, you know, kind of a tongue-in-cheek sort of thing there. They even have those zombie preparedness drills with the Department of Homeland Security. But, you know, the elites are getting their bunkers ready.
Yeah, you should have bought your own island in the southern hemisphere. We warned you.
Right. But there are very simple things that we can do and to do them right now. And I know that your sons are working on aquaponic systems and things like that. Obviously having certain things that would help you to fixture irradiated water.
Certain things like
graphene oxide.
Yeah, earth-bermed concrete and rebar enforced shelters, domes, things like that you can get, and that would be something that's effective. If you're not at ground zero, it's very effective, but also you're going to cover these earth-bermed shelters with several feet of dirt, so that can be a shelter from the radiation, but you still have to have your means to grow food and that sort of thing internally in it.
And they say fuel cells are probably the best source of energy because they produce heat and water as well as electricity. But the reason why I just wanted to kind of bring this up, obviously fallout for the release of it, it is, it's a great timely opportunity for us to talk about this stuff. But I mean, just look at some of the headlines. We saw just last month or earlier this month with the Navy launching their nuclear missiles right off the coast of California at the maximum exposure time that everyone would see it, not just as a warning to China or Russia, but to the American people as well, because it went viral on social media. So they're testing. Oh, we do that all the time. Right.
Our government is ramping up the second Cold War, and they make no bones about it, and they want us to feel the burn, feel the pain.
You say Lindsey Graham, right?
Yeah.
Nuclear war.
Yeah.
So nuclear war between India and Pakistan is a very real possibility. North Korea is prepping for their nuclear test. And in March, Business Insider reported about the world facing a growing threat of nuclear war. This is, of course, as we're working on this Iran nuclear deal where people are saying, okay, I get it, but after 2025, Iran will gradually be allowed to expand its effort. And, they have already said death to America. And so right now we have a lot of rogue regimes that are getting these nuclear capabilities. Perhaps they could fall into the hands of these jihadists. We don't know. And so we're now having to start preparing our own nuclear arsenal. The White House asked Congress for almost $350 billion to undertake this decade-long program to upgrade our nuclear arsenal, as we're telling everyone else that they need to dismantle theirs. They're saying that North Korea could be capable of adding a warhead each year to their already suspected 10 nuclear warheads, and they're working on one specifically that will reach the west coast of the United States. Obviously, Russia, their defense budget has grown by over 50% since 2007, with a third of that devoted to nuclear weapons. And then here we have a president who continues to poke Russia and not work alongside of them.
Exactly.
So this is,
we combine that with the fact that the American government is still the only government to have used nuclear weapons on anyone. I mean, we haven't seen the North Koreans, as crazy as that guy is, he hasn't attacked anybody with nuclear weapons yet.
Right.
Why is that? I mean, we are the people who have done that, and we're the people, as you point out, who are poking the Russians, who are trying to start a Cold War because it benefits the military-industrial complex. They can make a lot of money out of this perpetual, infinite war on terror. But for the really big ticket items that they look for nostalgically, the massive strategic bombers, that's what they need a Cold War for. So that's what they're pushing us for. Thank you so much, Leanne. That's what we have to be concerned about. Of course, that's it for tonight's Nightly News. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to Prison Planet TV. Your subscription helps to pay for our operation here. It also helps us to send reporters to places like Paris, as Joe Biggs and Paul Joseph Watson are there right now. It's a very expensive thing to do. It's also an expensive thing to run our satellite operation. So we would appreciate your support, and join us again tomorrow night at 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Knockout is back. If you want a product that has 10 known ingredients that naturally get your body to relax, your brain to relax, so you get deep, restful sleep, Knockout's it. InfoWarsLife.com. L-theanine, hops flower extract, lemon balm extract, valerian root extract, chamomile flower extract, L-tryptophan extract, melatonin, and more. All organic, all the natural sources. It's the same price as leading brands of melatonin that are 3 milligrams apiece. It has 3 milligrams, the standard recommended dose for an adult. It's got the GABA, so it would probably cost $50 to take all this as separate pills. It's $19.95. You take 1 or 2 of these, and it just is really clean, restful sleep is what the reviews are. It's what I've experienced. and it just synergistically puts everything in there. InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com, or call 888-253-3139.
You are watching the InfoWars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.